It's been a while. Let's go. Okay, ready? All right, welcome to Inside with Outsiders. My name is Jeremy Asgari, and today we have David Pangilinan, a marketer by day and content creator by night. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jeremy. I love this fire.
Thank you for being the first person we interview on this new set of ours.
I feel like a guinea pig. So
I'm glad you feel that way.
But also, I want to say thank you because remember we kind of screwed up the first interview we had with some technical errors.
Yeah.
So we interviewed him at here.
Yes, we did. That's right. We interviewed there, and then the sound got messed up. But we're outside again, and I like the fact that we're doing this interview outside. This is the first outdoor Inside with Outsiders that's like a full session.
Okay.
And we're out here in the wilderness, aka my backyard in Jersey City.
But you have a beautiful oak tree here that I feel like people don't even have in their
Oak
backyard.
tree and fig tree.
And a fig tree.
The only thing is, these squirrels in this tree steal my figs. So I have to wrap it up. Anyway, you've been a friend of Outsiders for some years now. Let's start a little bit about. Tell us about you, like where you're from, how you got into what you're doing, and the new theme of our podcast right now is going to be. We're going to be more specific. Talk about transitions in life, community, sense of belonging, and play. As an adult.
Yeah. So I was born in Jersey, but I grew up in New York, and so I was a city kid all my life. And I know I might dress and look like a seasoned camper and outsider, but I actually surprisingly just recently got into being in the outdoors. And then I met you on the beach outside at a coworker's 40th birthday. And then I feel like that's where our relationship began. And then I finally, it took like 2 years to finally get something in the books.
It took 2 years, like random messages on social media. And I didn't know you were you introduced to the outdoors by then or not?
No. No.
Okay. So since you weren't into the outdoors or weren't sort of involved in the outdoors until more recently,
Yes.
What was your relationship with the outdoors back then?
I hate bugs and I still do. And so I always looked at the outdoors as something that you needed like a bunch of skills to be able to survive out there. You needed to be ready to get dirty, which you still do, right? And then it just looked so uncomfortable to me. And to me, like when you say camping or you say outdoors, I think of a cabin.
Right.
Or I think of a little cottage on the beach. Not at all what I've been doing for the past 3 years, which is being in a tent surrounded by animals and not showering for days.
So you're more adventurous than I am, because when I think of camping, I'm more on the glamping side personally. I will camp, but I prefer to be able to shower if I need to. I need to shower every day.
I feel like there are, and I do have one of these where it's just like a portable shower where you fill up this tank and then you kind of apply pressure, you pump it, kind of like a weed killer kind of situation, and then you just go ahead and shower underneath it. But
so
it's not hot.
Before you started exploring the outdoors this way for fun, what were you into?
I feel like because I was much younger a few years ago, I feel like then it was really just going outdoors and sitting outside at restaurants, trying out different cocktails, which I still love to do, but that was the extent of which I was outdoors. Or, you'd rent an Airbnb in the Poconos and you'd hang out like on the terrace or something, or barbecue. I feel like that's something that's like really considered to be outdoors. But other than that, it was very limited.
Now that you've been exposed to the outdoors and accessible to you, do you ever see is that something that's a new part of your life that you will never let go of?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I try to tell all of my coworkers and all of my friends, and I've actually recruited a bunch of my friends to be able to come outside because there's just this magic of when you're outside that you can't replicate in a cabin.
Right.
No shade to the glamping because I still love that too because we did that. But there's just something about being around a fire, being around your best friends, and being able to kind of just turn off your phones, or you just don't even have signal at certain points,
So what was it that, other than bugs, that was like a little too intimidating to explore the outdoors for you? Was there anything that was standing out that prevented you from doing it?
I get really oily. I love a shower. I
didn't expect to hear that. Go ahead. Let's hear about your oily story.
My oily, I like sweat. I feel like the sweat, the dirt, and the grit of just like being outside, and if it's hot, because usually like a lot of people have to go camping when it's the summertime or something like that.
Right.
That was like the biggest issue for me. And also, I mean, you know, when I lived in New York City before I had my driver's license at the ripe age of 21 years old, I didn't have a way to go outdoors, right? Like I always was just like, I don't want to rent a car to go outside.
Right.
And then I realized more and more that there are people around you that kind of want to take that adventure with you. So it lessened the pressure of just being like, oh, I want to try something new. You can bring other people along.
What were you doing for your like free time before you started exploring the outdoors?
You know, I love like making cocktails.
You made a few cocktails for Chris.
I mean, I did, and I finished it, and I wish I had another one.
Chris, do you have a mic? We want to hear you too.
No, I do not have a mic.
Okay.
And it honestly, when I try to think about it, it was like really like easy like day hikes.
Right.
You know, but it would be few and far in between. Maybe it would like be once a year because, you know, the idea of like trying to find someone with a car to take you to the mountains.
But were you trying to find that, or were you like enjoying the bar scene and cocktails and that sort of lifestyle?
Well, I feel like as I've gotten older too, like that, no matter, and this is no shade to any restaurant, no matter how crafty you can get with the ingredients in your cocktail or how beautiful an interior of a restaurant can be, it's just incomparable to something that you can do outside. And it's beautiful, honestly, and it's something that you can't replicate.
Why do you say, I mean, I hope you're not just saying that because you're on our podcast right now, but what is it that makes you feel so amazing outdoors?
I see some of the stories he's posts when him and Marcos are out, like, and the shit that they're doing is crazy. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
Videos of him, he's holding a freaking baby goat.
Yes.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're actually in the woods. They're actually like camping. Not like the glamping that you guys do.
So
Yeah.
let's talk, okay, sorry, go ahead, I don't want to cut you off.
I already forgot what I was saying.
And tell me about your introduction to the outdoors when you really found a love for it. Who did that for you, and what was your first experience like?
Yeah, well, it was actually like 2 years ago, one of your guides from Outsiders took me camping for a July 4th weekend, and I did not know at all what was about to happen. As Carrie Underwood said, Jesus take the wheel, and I allowed myself to kind of be comfortable with the unknown and the uncomfortable, and I wanted to really push myself out of my limit, and it was a weekend to remember because I can remember it so vividly of what do you mean the bathroom is a hole inside a tent outside? And I was just like, okay, cool, let's drive to Walmart so I can use the restroom. But it really pushed me to understand like the primitiveness of being outdoors and like camping and relying on like a gas stove to kind of keep you warm and setting up a tent and then like it raining and everything. So the beauty about camping is that I you know, maybe people look at me and think you're such a simple packer when you go and travel, but I love to overpack. Okay. And when you go camping, it's just the bare minimum. You know, sometimes you don't have electricity, usually you don't. Your phone's gonna die. Who's gonna check on you? You know what I mean? Like, no, what are you gonna update people on? You're just trying to enjoy the moment, and that's what being outdoors is really like.
Are there any other transitional things, periods in your life or moments in your life that are as impactful as the outdoors was for you?
Honestly, no, and that's why I make such a conscious effort every year to be outside, to go camping, because I feel like there's a release that you get when you're outside that, you know, it's not necessarily like a Natasha Bedingfield Unwritten kind of moment where you're like screaming at the top of your lungs, but it's literally about being around a campfire. And I've told all my bosses, and I've made many Instagram posts about the beauty of just sitting around a campfire. Maybe you've had a couple shots of whiskey, you know, you're kind of feeling it, and you play a little bit of Zach Bryan on there, and then you get cozy. It's honestly indescribable, and I really want everyone to be able to try it.
I do. There's a mutual friend of Chris and I named JJ. JJ is a wild man, but he did say something once that I never forgot. He said, "Fire is nature's TV. You can just sit around and be entertained."
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, you can have people who, you know, like Jeremy, who likes to use a leaf blower to keep the fire going.
Oh my God, remember that?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I got that from this other woman at Camp Here who was a little crazy, and we couldn't get the fire started because the wood was wet.
Yeah.
So she comes in and she's not sober. She's like, "Let me help you guys out." Comes with a leaf blower and starts blowing the fire, and it's like this roaring fire.
It's going everywhere.
And it's definitely entertaining, but it's I don't know if it's the safest thing to do.
I don't think, and especially like with like alcohol out, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, if it like one splinter of like firewood gets into like someone's cup and it's all
Well,
over.
I mean, if they're drinking flammable booze, there's a problem there.
Well, speaking of JJ, I mean, me, your brother, and JJ, we're sitting in his backyard with the compressor from the house, and that's how we got to the
I have a tire compressor in my bag.
Really?
In his backyard all the time.
I literally
It
have
works.
a tire compressor.
I mean, all right. So another topic of conversation, other than transitions, with this new format for our podcast, our
Yeah.
show, is belonging in community. So, I guess when in your life have you felt the deepest sense of belonging, and what made that possible?
Oh, give me 10 seconds.
I'll let you think on that. Because, I mean, we bring that question up because my passion in The Outsiders is the social aspect, community, sense of belonging, and almost like a chosen family. I want people to find their people in the sense. So it's hard as an adult to feel that connection in a new group because it's hard to make connections as an adult.
Yeah.
So in your life, where have you found that? And it doesn't have to be in adulthood, although I would love if you found an example in adulthood,
Oh, okay.
but it doesn't have to be.
Okay. Oh, well, from high school to adulthood, how about I give you that one?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, one example of how I've really been able to find communities that I went to a high school in New York City, an all-boy Catholic high school, and intimidating, but
I doubt you're intimidated.
no, I loved it. I loved every second of it, and I wish I could go.
Oh, wow, we have a dog now.
That's fine. Audio's great.
That's good. So one example of communities, actually, I went to an all-boy Catholic high school in New York City, and the brotherhood that was created there was so strong for me at such a young age that it really influenced like a lot of my life, especially growing up and going to college, away from home. And it wasn't until nearly 10 years later that I found, I went to this random house party. And it was all guys from high school. And I was just like, wow, I had no classes. I didn't know any of them. And I found these two guys that I'm still so close with now. And we have like this huge, like extremely strong bond. We spend at least, we see each other at least like once a week as well. And we have like all these group chats and everything. But the community there was that, especially as we've gone through marriages, breakups, relationships, moving away, I've never felt more connected to people because of just the shared celebration of each other and like pushing each other and championing each other and telling each other off when, you know, you're acting up.
Right.
So, and that's honestly to me like the community that I found that I've now tried to bring into my own interests. We share interests, we don't share interests, but at the same time, we're always like rooting for each other. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
I mean, chosen family, right?
Truly,
You need that.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Xavier High School
I knew
on
that.
16th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue in
I have
Chelsea.
a lot of friends that went there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're wild.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
wild.
I'm
But
sure.
also like every year, and I've taken one of your guides from Outsiders, Marcos, who's probably going to be on an episode on here. But we go to this beefsteak dinner, and I went for the first time last year. And it's basically 21 and over, beefsteak dinner. You basically meet all of the alumni from like the oldest class to the youngest class of drinking age. And there is this like invisible bond. You may not even know each other's names, but there's this invisible bond
Yeah.
that you can feel when you're there. And I've gone to, like I work in media, so there's an anchor that went to Xavier, and you just say AMDG, which is Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, which was like the biggest thing that we would say to each other about brotherhood and for the greater glory of God. And it's just like this bond. And so it's a Jesuit school too, and I'm rambling, but it's a Jesuit school too. So when, I have my best friend went to Loyola in LA, which is also a Jesuit high school. And so when we say AMDG or we write it down on certain things, we know that's like kind of like a secret code that shows like the bond that connects people through.
That's great. We've had two Xavier grads on our podcast. We had Terrence Cervity, the owner of the Rockaway Hotel.
Okay,
And
nice.
Alex Dabaugh, the owner and founder of Anybag.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
Yeah.
And then now you have me, so I'm sorry about that.
You're forgiven. So have you ever been in a place where you felt like you didn't fit in at all? And what did you take away from that?
Yes. When I left the cozy bubble of New York to go to Central Jersey, Rutgers, New Brunswick, and I lived away from home, it was the first time where I met people who were just from like different walks of life. I feel like going to private school, like you're so used to like the same people, the same circles and stuff, and I felt so out of place because it was just like a New York City lifestyle into like the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's not the middle of nowhere, but it is the middle of New Jersey, which is considered nowhere.
I mean, I could totally relate because my first year of college was in Ohio. So I came from, going to school in Manhattan and in Jersey to going to school in Ohio.
And you're just like, what do I do here?
I mean, it was just a culture shock for me.
It was.
But at least you were driving distance. I was a 10-hour drive from home.
Yeah.
So
it was
miserable.
Tough. It was like, y'all don't know how to act because in my school, like in high school, like the priest would tell you off and you'd be sent home and all that kind of stuff. You'd be expelled, and people were out here doing homework or not doing their homework and coming to class and then looking the teacher in front of their faces and being like, I didn't do it. And I'm like, what do you mean? But I really felt out of place. And it wasn't until I kind of like joined a bunch of student groups, with similar interests, like the Asian American Society and all that stuff. Loser! But like
Hey, don't diss Asians. I'm half Asian.
I'm full Asian. What about it?
I'm half. Speaking of
what
that.
What Asian are you? Oh, you're Persian.
Persian, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not East Asian. I'm West
Mena.
Asian. West Asian.
Oh.
What did you call it?
MENA, Middle Eastern, North Africa.
Yes. I didn't know that. I didn't know that abbreviation.
Yeah, marketing term.
That's me. Half.
Half.
All right. So, how do you know when you found your people?
It honestly is this feeling of it's just a vibe. It's a vibe check, but also I feel like, how like you enter a room of people and then like you kind of like look and see like who's laughing at certain jokes or anything, and you see what hits, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, you get my humor. And I feel like humor.
I think the perfect example of finding your people was that camping weekend when I met you and a few others.
Yeah.
I mean, I met you. I met it was the first time you came on an outsider's trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
were you nervous
Toasty,
that I was going to be like this?
No, because I knew who else was coming.
Oh, well.
I knew Jerome Lamar was coming. I knew that, who else? I didn't know Toasty. Charles, but I didn't know Charles either. I knew Mel. I knew Amaray. So, Jordan, of course. I knew.
Yeah.
So I knew they had senses of humor.
Yeah.
And my people are those who don't take themselves too seriously.
Yes.
Who can laugh at themselves and
constantly
poke fun, but also get made fun of as well. So yeah.
Oh yeah, sometimes to the point where I cry. But no, yeah.
That's the fun part.
That's that's
When
for you,
cry.
for you,
When
for me,
cry. Absolutely.
for you, for me. Yeah.
For me, laughing at you.
Yeah. No, I feel like that is such a huge thing. Like humor, just like food, right? That's why I love food so much. But it's also like I feel like humor is kind of like the gateway to like understanding other people's kind of like where they are in life and like it's just not taking yourself too seriously.
No, I agree.
It's about fun.
All right, so we're going to move into the chapter of growth and identity. Okay? So, can you share a story when you surprised yourself when you became someone you didn't expect? I mean, I guess we're going to go back to the outdoors, or is there another story?
Oh, do you want to talk about my therapy journey?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well now, so what was it? So let me rephrase it so you can cut it easily.
Want me to rephrase it?
Yeah, no, I'll rephrase it.
We're not going to cut. We're just rolling.
Oh, we're just rolling.
Yeah.
This is going raw?
Yeah, no, it's when we start.
We're going raw.
Oh, this is going in raw?
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
And that won't be cut out, so thank you.
No, and that will be a fucking good reel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think I've been in over a year in my therapy journey.
Okay. How's that going?
Oh, I was waiting for congratulations, but it's been pretty. It's been amazing.
Let me backtrack.
Yeah.
What was the initiator for you to start going to therapy?
I just felt like I kind of just didn't have a grip on, or no, actually, I actually wanted to understand a little bit more about who I was. And while I love my friends and they tell me about myself all the time, I wanted to go and meet a person and sit with a person licensed and with the right tools and capabilities to be able to tell me how I act, why I act the way I act, without any preconceived notions and a knowledge of who I was. And I felt like, my insurance plan was great. I was this, sadly, therapy.
Smoke. Sorry, the smoke is getting right.
It's okay. I've snorted worse. But I've...
Go ahead.
Clearly you haven't.
No, I
Try
haven't.
again. Okay. And what I loved about it is that, sitting with my therapist for over a year now, to be able to spend an hour every single week to understand, why am I acting the way that I act this way? How can I see it from someone else's perspective? And how can I kind of I'm very type A, and how can I kind of release control and understand that you can't control how other people are going to react or how they act? And it's been such a transformational journey for me because it's been amazing.
What kind of therapy do you do?
Like the regular one?
Cognitive behavioral?
Yes.
Okay.
CBT?
Huh?
Cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
CBT? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I do EMDR. I used to do CBT.
What's EMDR?
Abbreviations: eye movement desensitization and reprogramming, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does that do versus CBT?
It's trauma therapy.
Okay.
So basically, what I like to say, it tells you why you're reacting, why you're feeling a certain way.
Oh, maybe I want to do that.
And then obviously everything goes back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And figures out why you feel this way when a response is triggering you or whatever.
Yeah.
And then go back and kind of reprogram and say, well, this is what you experienced that causes you to react this way or feel this way. Imagine your experience as a child was a bit different and in that circumstance, this transpired instead of the way it did. And then you kind of take that approach and then...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not doing justice by explaining it the way I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you sold it to me.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, for me, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I can implement the things I learn right away into my daily life.
Yeah.
From each session.
Yeah.
And it's not just talk therapy, for example.
Like talk therapy?
I'm not just talking. I am talking about my problems and stuff and such.
But it goes deeper.
But beyond that, it goes deeper.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
This smoke is killing me. Sorry.
You want to move it further?
I just want to make sure it's not messing the shot.
No.
The smoke.
No, don't start messing with shit.
All right. So these are new questions, so I'm reading them off. What does becoming yourself mean to you right now in this chapter of your life?
Oh, that's such a great question. And I was told in media training to never say that's a great question because that means it wasn't a great question, but it was.
Okay.
And I like to give a shout out, and this is not at all to make a joke of it, but becoming myself is kind of honoring the people that have come before me to let me be where I am in my life right now. And so that means saying yes to opportunities. It means to fully embrace and work hard and make your family proud. And this is not at all like a Mulan situation, but I really do think about, like the show Avatar, The Last Airbender?
I've watched 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay. It was after his time. But the thing about Avatar, The Last Airbender is that you basically embody all of the ancestors before you. And so for me, what does it mean to become myself is to fully lean into what I was supposed to be. And in high school, we had this amazing therapy retreat as juniors called Kairos, which means God's time. So everything was stripped away from you. You didn't have your phone. None of the clocks were in this enormous mansion. None of the clocks worked. And obviously in high school, you're becoming yourself and you're learning more about who you are and who you might be more keen on liking versus not liking, especially in an all-boys school. And
I want to hear some high school stories too, but continue.
Listen, if I had a memoir.
Let's hear something.
Finish the thought. Times Square twink stories. Okay, but
what'd you say?
Twink stories.
Times Square what?
Times Square twink stories.
Times Square twink stories.
That's the name of my memoir.
Let's hear it.
So, okay, let me start from the beginning. Okay, and it's quite beautiful. So in high school, when you're a junior, in my high school, when you were a junior, you went on a 4-day retreat to this enormous mansion in Long Island. It's been sold off. Couldn't afford to keep it open, but it was just huge. and it's called Kairos on God's time. And so what you're meant to do is really to look inward. And on the third day, they people throughout the entire school, your parents, your teachers write you palankas, which are just letters. And so you don't know about it, but then you have these leaders that like drop it off into your room at night. And you know, in high school, you're learning more and more about who you are, about who you like. And I opened up this one letter from my theology teacher.
Yeah.
And she wrote, it was a really simple sentence, and she wrote, "I'm so glad you're becoming who God made you to be." And that was tough. That was like, it was tough and like so loving to read, because I've only ever been myself. And while it might be different from, you know, from the norm, or what you might consider to be the norm, seeing that validation from someone who's teaching theology at a Catholic high school, that was a letter. Not even my mom's letter, and I love my mom, but that one strip of blue paper, handwritten, where she said, "I'm so glad you're becoming who God exactly wanted you to be," that's what opened up my eyes, and that really makes me feel like I was already leaning into who I was supposed to be.
So tell me exactly, was that validation for you?
It was a validation, because I just felt like I was always like marching to the beat of my own drum. Not in like a crazy dye my hair way, but it was just like I didn't care what other people thought.
You always felt comfortable no matter what?
I always felt comfortable.
Because you don't seem to get embarrassed by anything.
No.
And you've always been that way.
I've always been, because to me also, like, I forget, like in psychology, right? It's like the person that dances first will encourage everyone else to dance.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm kind of like, what's the point of being embarrassed? Because you only get one shot at this life. You don't get to do a rerun. You don't get to replay. You don't get to be like, oh man, I wish I did more of it back then. So to me, I always just was like, you know, and then like younger students in my high school would be like, oh my God, like, you know, you make me feel so comfortable in being who I am. And I was like, yes, bitch. Like, well, not yes, bitch, but more like, of course, like, you know, like you only get one shot at this life, and if these people don't love you, some people will, you know, like you'll find your people.
So were you always willing to take the lead as someone who's going to give advice to younger folks?
Oh, 100%. And I still do, like even people like from interns to people from my undergrad reaching out. You know, professors will like refer them to me to, you know,
Really?
Yeah.
Still
to this day, yeah. Oh. I had one last week. Yeah.
Did you graduate from New Brunswick? Rutgers?
I graduated from New Brunswick.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your major there?
PR, comms with a specialization in PR.
Do you feel like, see, I did the same thing. I
Yeah.
did media studies with a specialization in PR, and I felt like I learned nothing in the PR classes that wasn't common sense, except for journalism classes were great because I learned how to communicate and write better.
So I did my grad degree in journalism.
Okay.
Yeah, but in my PR class,
Pause. Cut.
what did you shot?
We good? All right. So we just had to take a little break, but I kind of want to take it back to our style of our podcast prior to this new theme. And I want to incorporate the discussion of your life, right?
Yes.
So what I love about these interviews and my passion behind it is hearing people's stories and the events that transpired in your life to get you where you are now. So there's events in my life I can think of that changed the direction of my life and brought me to where I am now.
Yeah.
What are the significant events that took place in your childhood to then adolescence to then young adulthood, and you're still a young adult, but like now? If we were backwards from your childhood, do you remember moments in your life that were pivotal into shaping you now?
I'd say going to an all-boy Catholic high school. I did Army JROTC.
Wow.
All
Okay.
4 years. I was captain of the drill team.
Did you choose to do that?
So my high school used to be a military school,
Yeah.
as well as a Catholic school. And then when JROTC became voluntary, you only had to do it the first half of your freshman year. And then
Okay.
you could choose to do it the next 4. And what I loved so much about the JROTC was that it was rank and file, it was order and discipline. And then it also taught me that you have to work hard to be able to go and to rank up.
Right.
And if you want, it's always like set the example. So I have like all these random facts in my head of like, what does leadership stand for? It's loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And it taught you about brotherhood. It taught you about being accountable for things, things that I feel like a lot of people to this day, especially as adults, don't understand how to do, which is to take accountability for what you do. And I feel like being in that really made me understand like what it was like to hang out with guys a lot. And I know that's kind of crazy to say because I went to an all-boys school and I chose to go to an all-boys school. But I was a girl's girl, and I still am. Like I would like hang out with girls all the time. I just felt
Did
more
you grow up
comfortable.
like, do you have sisters or?
I had 2 older half sisters, but
Yeah.
they're like in their 50s. So like
Okay.
I died from my dad's first marriage. So it was never something that they were there for. So I always just gravitated more to girls when I was growing up in elementary school and in high school because I just felt like I related more to them.
Yeah.
I wasn't like this like jock that Xavier High School like kind of produced. And so I just gravitated more towards that. And so going to an all-boys school, it also taught me how to push myself to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? Like I feel like
Right.
that's something that I've been saying a lot where, besides what someone looks like, besides what they like or how they talk or how they look, when you kind of find the same interests, it doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter anymore. Like you
Right.
guys bond over something.
Absolutely. This is the whole point behind Outsiders, finding common interests and having the same reasons for being there. you know?
Yeah. And it was beautiful because as I progressed in like my high school career, I was just like, oh wow, like these guys like don't care like who I love, who I'm attracted to, but they care more about like are we gonna laugh at the same thing,
Right.
or
And when you say these guys, you mean the students or the ROTC specifically?
both. So students and it was in the program. It was in the high
Oh,
school
wow.
program.
Okay.
So it was just like it was just a way for me to understand that like it doesn't matter if you're straight or you're gay or anything like that. It mattered more about are you gonna laugh at my joke? You know,
Right.
like are you hungry? Like let's go like grab something at McDonald's or something. And so you kind of like let the guards up, especially for people who are from marginalized communities that have this like natural armor that's up. And I learned in high school to kind of like let it down and to kind of give people a chance, give people the benefit of the doubt. And I did that more as I went to college and I met people who were not from like the same kind of community that I was from, the New York City community, as
And do
you
you
know.
attribute that to, yeah, right, because you went to New Brunswick from New York City, which isn't that far, but it's a different culture.
A completely different culture. I mean, people from South Jersey basically call themselves they're from Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and like, the accents are different, the lifestyles are so different, and not in a very derogatory way. It's just very different, and I wasn't introduced to that until I burst my bubble of being in New York City,
Right.
and going to New Brunswick, where you're kind of like, well, fuck, I'm stuck on a campus. I'm stuck in my dorm, and I live on a floor with 10 other guys
Yeah.
with 2 showers and 2 bathroom stalls. I guess we're gonna get to know each other.
Yeah.
And that's when the learnings that I got from high school of like letting your guard down and letting people in versus kind of shutting them out.
Right.
I really adopted that more in college. And then you go off into the real world. You get a big boy job.
Before you keep on going on that,
Yeah.
you said the ROTC, you joined that willingly, and you did the 4 years?
I joined it willingly. And you know what, Jeremy? Before I went to Xavier, I knew you had to do it for 6 months.
Right.
It was mandatory. And I was in the Philippines the summer before with my family, and I was just like, after 6 months, Mom, like I'm not gonna continue it. I'm not gonna continue it. And then they had like a JROTC showcase, the drill team calling out commands, the uniforms, the order, the
Yeah, it's the second time you said the order.
yeah.
Did you feel like, did you grow up with that, or did you feel like that was lacking in your life and that's what sent you to really enjoy the ROTC?
I grew up with it in my
Okay.
life. Like everything was so like to this day, even like with my mom, it's just like you come and have coffee at 9 a.m. and then like between 12 and 2 you have lunch, and then
Right.
when I go and visit her in Virginia, and she's like, okay, between 5 and 8 that's when we should have dinner. So loose now, but when I was growing up, it was very much like you came home, you watched MTV while you did your spelling homework, and then you had dinner at 6 and you were in bed by 9.
Wow, so I didn't have those constraints in that way. I still had structure, I did. But I know friends that had and family members that had real tight structure. And there's the argument, people say kids really need a tight structure and rules. I had that, but it wasn't so regimented.
Mine was quite regimented, pun intended. Like, and it was very like, this is.
I'm gonna save it for camera.
Good.
So we're talking about structure and
Yes.
how
Regimented.
regimented you are now because that's
Yeah.
how you grew up and how you really are hungry for that. You need that in your life.
I need it. That is something like, I like to say that I embrace spontaneity and I embrace surprises. I love that as well. But outside of that, like my day-to-day, I have to have this routine because it's just something that I feel like gives me, as my therapist says, like I like to have control a lot.
Yeah.
And there are certain things you can control and certain things you can't control. And for me, waking up at 5:15 a.m. And being able to kind of know exactly when I'm going to take my fiber gummies, to knowing exactly like my 3-ounce shot along with like my creatine little milkshake. Like it to me, like it gives me something at least in the morning that I can control versus when I'm at work and I'm like, Jesus, what requests am I going to get? What
Right.
email am I going to get?
It's funny you say that because I crave both sides. I crave that structure because I'm an entrepreneur and I like having that because I do have a sense of enjoying and needing control, right?
Yeah.
But there's parts of me that starve for that, like let loose and not let go of structure and have that break. And I don't know, maybe that's my creative side. But I need both. I can't just have
Oh,
one
for
or the other.
sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think I'd be in a relationship today if that's all I wanted
Right.
to do. But like, but for me, how I let loose is like, when I know I've like hit my maximum in terms of my schedule and my routine, I'm like, okay, now I'm done. Like now I get to kind of like like rewind and relax and sit on my couch for hours and just like watch Below Deck or 1923 Yellowstone, you know what I mean, on
Yeah.
Paramount Plus. And
Plug. Where do you work, by the way?
a small media company called Paramount. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So you
yeah.
I mean, I do the same. I'm very, very regimented in certain ways. I have to be. Like, for me, physically, I have to exert myself, exercise, what they call pay rent, your daily rent,
oh, I love that.
in order to be, having my mind state healthy. Because if I
Yes.
don't, my stress gets the best of me, anxiety, and so on. But plus, the gym anchors my day. It's the one thing in the day I know exactly where I'm going to be at what time. Because I can take meetings. I have meetings days, all hours. My work changes depending on the day and what needs
Yeah.
to be done.
Yeah.
So the gym is really my anchor. And then I guess if I had a vice, and I try not to do this, but is getting home, even if I've eaten already, getting home, putting on something to unwind, like to dumb down my brain. I'm trying not to watch TV, right? And I went
Okay.
months without it for a while. But there's moments where I like to unwind and watch TV and eat on the couch before I go to sleep.
What do you watch?
I'm becoming more and more particular about what I watch. And I've been watching more documentaries that are informative or people's interesting lives.
Oh, okay.
Or like on occasion, like a nice, sounds super bougie saying this, but indie or foreign film, just because I feel like American films have the same plot line and it frustrates
Yes.
the hell out of me.
Yeah.
So something different that's made me feel an emotion that,
It's unexpected.
no, just feel an emotion. That's
Okay.
not your typical, protagonist, antagonist story.
And Indian films do that, or foreign films.
Foreign film, independent.
Oh, okay.
Independent films.
Independent
Indie films
films.
are independent,
Indie, yeah.
and then foreign films.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I thought you said like Indian films. I was like,
No,
Bollywood?
indie, independent films.
Oh, okay, okay,
So those
okay.
that don't follow the same format, because
Yeah,
I like something that's going to evoke emotion. That's successful art to me.
yeah.
And my favorite movies some of them are really disturbing because they're evoking emotion.
Yeah, Human Centipede. So, I would say
Oh my God. I love this guy. He's so inappropriate.
the musical.
All right, so we're talking about this regimen.
Yeah.
Now, when you're in the outdoors, does that kind of go against that
It's
for you?
so interesting because yes,
Yeah.
that's where I like fully embrace it, and
Well, it has both sides, though. You have to be regimented to be prepared.
Right, you have to
Right,
prep
yeah,
before, and then that's
exactly.
where I thrive, right?
Yeah.
Like anyone that goes camping with me will be like, oh, he has a set menu, like everything's been marinated, everything's been packed before. I've bought this cooler that's like powered by battery, so it's
Yeah.
like a freezer and a cooler at the
Right.
same time. I'm sure Marcos has told you about it, but it's amazing.
But what's the other side?
The other side is just kind of like when I go camping, I think a lot of the people that I go camping with, a lot of my friends are like, oh, he's so type A that him drinking a White Claw, a hard seltzer around a fire at the campfire, that's like his escape. And
Right.
I've heard this multiple times from different people being like, don't worry about cooking. Like you've done everything else. You picked the theme for the camping trip. You got us like, we're doing like all these camp games and stuff like that you've prepared. Turn your mind off.
Do you kind of operate in extremes where you're super regimented, then let completely loose?
I don't want to say extremes because that means I'm like shaking my ass every weekend,
No,
like on a
I
table.
think you have a good balance. I do think that you're entertaining, right? Because you have this funny personality. You
Yeah.
say outlandish stuff, but it's just
Who, me? No,
you. And it seems like you let loose. But
Yeah.
I've seen you present. You sent me a video of you presenting for work, and then you were presenting something for outsiders, which I appreciated.
Of course. Yeah.
And you seem so on top of it and so organized and prepared that somebody who doesn't have that level of regiment in their life wouldn't be able to do.
Thank you.
So
Oh,
I
that's
see
so
you
sweet.
having very polar opposites, not so far extreme, right? Because
Yes.
I don't think you're a mess either.
Yeah.
Even when you let loose, you're not a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep it cute.
You keep it cute.
I keep it
yes.
cute, as the LGBTQ say. But
So
Yeah,
how does
yeah.
like we're talking through? You were getting into your professional career when I stopped you and wanted to go back to ROTC.
yeah.
Your professional career. What are the pivotal moments in there that kind of changed, or how do you take the pivotal moments of your youth to that got you to where you are now in your professional career as an adult?
It's interesting to say that because I feel like I've just met amazing mentors that were my managers and my bosses that have taught me so many helpful things. And I've been also super, and I'll say this with like a firm stance on it, I'm so thankful that all of my previous managers and my current managers are people of color and from marginalized communities. So it's like, to me, like I've been able to kind of learn how, as a person from a similar kind of background, needs to act in corporate America. At a Fortune 500 company, like they've allowed me to understand that I can be exactly who I'm supposed to be, bring my personality, but also understand how to use it to my advantage. And I'll give you...
Speak on that, please.
Yeah, so I'll give you more concrete examples of like, growing up in an Asian household, I very much followed the rule of like, you kind of listen. You don't really have an opinion. You kind of just, you listen to what the elders have to say, and you just sit there, you absorb, and you learn. And I took that kind of mentality into, like the Army JROTC program also taught you that, right? Like if you're not an officer, if you're not a junior or senior in high school, you don't actually have to say anything because you follow what your commander says. And then, I transferred that over into my work. And then my feedback, in like my mid-year reviews or my end-of-year reviews were always like, you're so smart, but you just seem like you like to take a back seat when it comes to saying what's on your mind. And then I had amazing mentors that were like, what would Chad do? What would someone who was so mediocre do in those meetings? You sit in those meetings and sometimes people say the dumbest things for so long that people stop paying attention, but they get recognition.
Right.
And so for me, I learned to kind of understand how to play that corporate ladder, to understand like if you want to rise on the corporate ladder, sometimes you're going to smile and laugh at jokes that you don't really care about.
Right.
Or, to honor to be that example, because probably someone more junior than you is looking at you to say something in that meeting, to kind of be that beacon for them so that they feel comfortable in saying something. So that's kind of how it's translated, and I've rambled, so I forgot what the original question was.
No, you're telling a good story, and I don't mind you rambling a little bit.
So I rambled. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a question. So you're on right now. I've always seen you on. You're either with your friends in a group, so on, and I haven't spent enough time with you where we can get really personal. But sometimes I'm talking to somebody for the first time and showing that side of me that that's not the on side, the personal side. And I will say something that people are really surprised about. Like, I never would expect you to feel that way about yourself or that. what is it about you that people are usually surprised when they get to close enough to you, they realize that there's something about you that they're shocked about?
Damn, that's a really deep question. I'm might look like I have it all together, but 90% of the time, I don't.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't
Yeah.
want to. I don't want to keep you going on this,
Yeah.
but who does?
So then working out through. Yeah.
If you ever see, I've seen people talk about CEOs and entrepreneurs that they have it figured out. Like they never have it figured out. They're making certain moves, they're testing, things happen to fall in place as a decision they've made happens to be right. They don't have it all figured out. And I've heard nobody has it all figured out, because how would they? But
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like, especially in corporate America, you have to put on like this face, right? Or like even when you're with your friends and you have your on-side, there's like this expectation that you're supposed to fill. Like you're supposed to be the fun one. You're supposed to always, you're supposed to always have the energy on, and very
live up to your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, get on the dance floor. Like you love to shake your ass. Get on the
Right.
dance floor. Do something. And for me, it's been tough, like to be able to kind of like balance both, because one, it's like I also love I hate disappointing people. So it's just like I love being able to kind of like fulfill that fantasy that you have of me, or like this identity or this idea that you might have of me. But at the same time, it's like I try to find also moments where I kind of like can breathe a little bit.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting having to be on,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
You put your hand in the fire for me?
It's exhausting putting on the show or being on,
Yeah.
right? And for me, when I'm on the Outsiders, or even when I was hosting parties or when I'm in a group setting, I guess typically when I'm in that environment, I have to be a leader, right? So I have to be able to serve this expectation.
Yeah.
And I get home from these things, I'm tired. And what do I enjoy doing? People are like, what do you do for fun? I have travel, sports, all that stuff, but what I really enjoy doing is being around friends and not have to say anything.
Yes. But that's how you found your people, right? Like it's
For
like
sure.
it's those people where you can be absolutely mute
Yeah.
and don't have to say anything. And I feel like there's also this this bad rap that you get where people are like, "Oh, you must be fake then if you're just putting it on for people." It's just like, no, that's like part of who I am. It's part of like the show, right? Like it's part of my identity is to, and we love doing it.
Yeah. And it's wrong to say it's a show, because it's not a show.
Yeah, right.
I am myself when I'm being this leader.
Right.
But it takes a different level of energy.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's even more special when you can be around people and you can just be so quiet.
Yeah.
Just like when you're around a campfire and camping, right?
Yes,
And you're just
absolutely.
you're just drinking a hard seltzer and you're just sitting there and you're watching the fire. And to hear, and I've heard one of my best friends say it to me, where she was like, she came up to me and she was like, "I made you a plate," and she was like, "But like, don't worry about it. Like, this is literally your time for you to turn your brain off."
Right.
And I remember I looked at her, tipsy, but I looked at her and I was like, "Thank you," because I was just like, this is the moment where I can kind of feed the other aspect of my identity, where it's just kind of like I just want to be around friends and not have to put on a show, put on a performance.
When
Or
do you get a moment to do that? When do you feel like you're able to do that? Does nature bring that to you as well, or is it just pretty much the circumstances and the people you're around?
It's the circumstances and the people I'm around. I also have to understand, like, sometimes I just need like me nights. That's a thing that I'm working out in therapy, where it's just like, sometimes it's like it's kind of nice to like be by yourself, and it's skincare. It's being able to kind of like be in my bathroom for like 30 minutes of like toning my face and like exfoliating and like putting a face mask on, putting on some like binaural beats to like fall asleep to and stuff, where you can kind of sit with your own thoughts with no one else around you. And I feel like that stuff, that's some deep shit you get into.
I agree. And one of my mentors, Sabrina Horn, once told me, life is just about moments, finding these moments for you. Because with everything always changing, you can't have something be permanently a certain way. Like, things can't be permanently level ever. Things can't always be the calm and so on. So I remember, I bring this up because you're talking about finding moments, finding nights to yourself. I remember finding small moments when I worked in nightlife, hosting big events, or even when I'm doing Outsiders. But when you go back to the nightlife portion, sometimes I'd be like, "Oh man, I've been putting all this energy out, I would go to the bathroom for a second and just be in the bathroom. Wouldn't necessarily need to use the bathroom. I'd just be in the bathroom and get a moment.
Just get a little quiet.
And the success for me with the Outsiders is when I can, whether it be on a hike or whatever activity, and I've put all this energy into making people feel heard and feel holding space for them and connecting them. And once they're connected to each other, and I no longer have to be part of the conversation, is when I feel a sense of success.
You have to like step back a little bit, and you're kind of like, and there's this scene in the show The Office where Pam and Jim get married, and she says this thing to him where she's just like, I feel like everything is going by so quickly, and she said, I'm trying to take like mental pictures. Yeah. And so she would like actively like do like a little camera moment, and she'd like do that when it felt like a really special moment. And that's sometimes like I'll be sitting in bed and I'll just go through not just like the day, but like the past couple of months to even like the past couple of years, and I'll be like laying in my bed like in tears of like, you've come such a long way from where you were like a year ago, and your past self would be so happy with where you are right now.
It's important to have that gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna kind of come close to wrapping this up. There's a couple questions that I still want to use from our previous style of podcast, but I love this question. What is your most embarrassing moment? And I feel like it's tough for you because you don't get embarrassed, but go ahead.
Okay, so in 5th grade. Okay, my most embarrassing moment.
I like funny responses to this, but go ahead.
I mean, it's like I sharted my pants.
When did you shart your pants?
Most recently, well, a few weeks ago. But oh man, give me 10 seconds.
All right, you got 10 seconds, brother. The most embarrassing moment, the best story I think has been Javier so far. He gets on a bus, he's wearing snap-away pants. He's on a public bus going to high school, and the bus, as he's coming up the stairs, clips his pants, and he gets on the top of the stairs, and it rips his pants off, and he's there in his tighty whities in front of a whole bus. That's his moment.
So you heard about Montezuma's revenge in Mexico City. Okay, so we are in like the Soho of Mexico City, and I hate to compare like an American like area to Mexico City, but we're walking around, and I lost my ring, and I'm wearing green linen pants. And we had gone to a taco spot that was questionable the night before for my palate. And my stomach is rumbling, and I'm looking for my ring. Everyone else is at a cafe, and I'm looking for my ring on like this gorgeous street. And I bend down to like try to see if it's in this grassy area. And the Emperor Montezuma visited me.
Holy snap.
And there were people everywhere, and it's because it's green pants, so it's like the shade starts to get darker.
Man. Enough said.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not don't put that on.
That's going on.
Okay.
All right, last question I have for you is,
Damn.
what have I not asked you that you want to share about yourself?
Are you happy where you are right now?
You want to ask me a question?
But then I want you to ask it back to me.
Are you happy where you are right now?
No, I'm asking you first.
Oh, man.
Or, so let me rephrase, as journalists do.
Yeah.
Because that's a leading question. Well, not really, but it's, are you, in this current moment, fulfilled?
No, I'm not. I'm fulfilled in certain regards. I'm doing something I really enjoy, but I'm not, I don't feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do just yet. I'm on the right path, for sure. But I'm not, there's something missing, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. And there's factors like financially. There's factors like fully content with, feel fully fulfilled with everything. I don't fully feel like I'm getting everything I want. I'm not doing everything I'm meant to do just yet, but I know I'm definitely in the right path. So I'm the type of person that needs to know, to have that direction and go full steam ahead. And right now I'm in a pivotal moment with outsiders and with myself where it's like I want to figure out the right road to take. So I'm not exactly completely fulfilled because I want to figure that out and then go forward 100%. I need forward progress.
Do you feel, so I feel like, right, we were talking about like regiments and like routine and stuff like that. Is it because there's so much uncertainty that you don't feel unfulfilled? Or is it like, what if we reframe the question and the perspective to be like, right now, in this moment, are you happy about where you are? Because it sounded like you were.
Yes and no.
Because there's always like that level, right? Like, yes, I'm happy. I could be happier. But the gratitude aspect,
I have to
right?
think about it because I have to be grateful for where I'm at right now because where I'm at is where I asked to be, right? But I'm missing certain aspects of where I want to be. So I haven't finished writing my book, so in a way. So I haven't finished writing this journey, and I enjoy the fact that this puzzle's not solved yet. So in a way, I like that aspect of it. Because if it was all solved, then where would there be mystery? And I enjoy a little mystery.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers a bit of your question.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm a glass half full kind of guy all the time. I'm very like optimistic, and I feel like 2025 and just even a year has been very good to me. I feel like I've been able to. I've said yes to things that I would have regularly have never said yes to.
Yeah.
Or, but I would say I do feel fulfilled. I feel I don't want to chase something and see if the grass is greener on the other side because, like what you said before, right? It's just like this is exactly what I asked for,
Right.
where I am. And so for me, career-wise, financially wise, everything could always be way bigger than what it is, but right now, like I just feel so fulfilled with like my friendship circle, my relationships. Yeah, I feel.
To go back to the question you asked me, what really gives me security and a foundation for me right now is knowing that this is the best support team I've had since I started Outsiders. Everyone in their place is amazing, and that's what's giving me hope right now. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure, I'm gonna have you interview me on the 100th episode.
Oh my God, of course. Okay, ready? Are you
Oh,
ready?
we gotta hurry up, but go ahead.
Okay, are you ready? If you died right now, would you be happy?
Yes, I've lived an amazing life.
Okay, me too. Okay.
Yes. Thank you for being on the show, and we're gonna have to have you back because there's more I want to talk about with you.
Oh my God, I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Thank you for being patient with this new format.
Of course.
But I think we got a little rhythm towards the end. And
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that like me like saying things and then you genuine like being able to pry more,
I like that.
felt great. Because
That feels
I felt like
natural to me.
the earlier session, it was just like we were jumping and I was just like, huh?
Well, thank you for being our guinea pig.
Yeah, of course. I could be a pig too, huh? Hello?
All right. Thank you for tuning in. Please look out for our next episode.